Hello, we are the Pac5 and our application is on HIV management. HIV management requires a considerable time and attention to all aspects of a patient's healthcare. Patients need to monitor their appointments, their medication, a healthy diet, and a healthy fitness program. Our team's goal with this project was to research what HIV management requires from a patient and the different solutions available today to come up with a comprehensive HIV management tool for patients. Linked here is our project plan for our project in our final delivery folder in our GitHub repo. The goal of this project was to create a comprehensive application that allows patients to manage their appointments, labs, diet, and exercise, and to give them access to tools that will improve their HIV care. Some of the important requirements included appointment tracking, lab tracking, diet and exercise tracking, the ability to view care provider contact information, and access to education materials as well as HIV-related news.
Here we have a roster of our team. Our project mentor is Ronnie, who have been providing us with excellent feedback through the course of the project. Dari is our project manager, responsible for organizing and assigning work for each sprint, as well as putting together and submitting each deliverable as they are due. There's me, Yang, one of the developers here. My primary contribution is the development of the functionalities to add, view, and remove meals and workouts in their corresponding pages. Arun is another one of our developers who set up the initial project framework for the codebase, then created the user registration and login process, as well as the Fire integration. Adam is our third developer, who focused on the configuration for our application to build and deploy to the HDAP platform. And finally, there's Joe, who as QA helped with documentation and uncovering issues, as well as contributing to the development of the learning page.
Hello, my name is Adam, and I'd like to point out some of the initial research we did into this problem space. At first, it was clear that the market was filled with health trackers. There are dozens of applications to track diet, running, exercise, or even hydration levels. There are also plenty of applications for tracking and scheduling appointments with doctors and sharing results. However, we could not find any platforms that did all this together well in a generic way, and there weren't really any platforms that did this all very well in a specific way. Except we did find one platform that was highly successful and had a very similar use case. This application was a diabetes management tool. It included exercise, labs, and diet tracking. It also had some social aspects and features where it would bring up related news to the condition. Overall, it was very similar to the product that we aimed to deliver. We took this as a good sign. The application we were developing has a business model that's already been proven to work for a different disease. We just need to do a good job implementing a centralized hub for HIV management, and we need to make it clean and easy to use, and we are hoping we will have the same success.
Hello, my name is Arun, and I would like to go over our research on the different aspects of HIV disease management. In order to successfully manage living with HIV, patients need to take care of some important aspects. One important aspect is that HIV patients must undergo regular health checkups and blood tests in order to monitor the HIV infection and ensure that the medication is working properly. HIV patients also need to have regular appointments with their primary healthcare provider and other medical specialists as required. Diet and exercise also play a key role in managing HIV symptoms. Patients might need to follow special diets prescribed by nutritionists in order to supplement their medications effectively. Based on this research, the core requirements for managing HIV were identified to include the following: managing appointments and access to provider contacts, tracking lab results, diet tracking including calorie and nutrition details, and exercise tracking.
Now, to quickly go over some of the use cases that drove the design of our project. As discussed, treating HIV is a complex and holistic process. It involves multiple doctors, regular lab work, diet, exercise, and is a landscape with new research and studies being done on a regular basis. In order to develop our application, we identified 3 core use cases to address. Use case 1 is coordination of doctors and appointments. This includes scheduling and tracking appointments, keeping track of doctors and their specialties, and easing communication of results and notes between doctors and saving those notes for the patient. Use case 2 is tracking. This involves tracking and displaying lab results over time. It also includes an interface to track and monitor diet and exercise, as well as the nutritional value of those diets. Use case 3 is education. This involves displaying up-to-date news and studies about the condition. It could also tie into use case 2 and alert if certain lab results or diets are mentioned in new news reports.
Now we will go over the build and deployment architecture of our application. The application code resides in the Georgia Tech GitHub repository. Drone builds are integrated with the GitHub repository. Developer commits to the Git repository trigger a HTAP drone build. As part of the build, Docker image of our application is built and deployed on the HTAP Kubernetes cluster. Once the application is deployed on HTAP, users can access the application from the browser using the HTAP application URL. Requests from the browser to the HTAP application URL are routed by the Ambassador API gateway to one of the application Docker pods deployed in the Kubernetes cluster. Finally, the application uses an SQLite database for persistence.
Now I will demo the application. Here is our landing page, where users have the ability to log in or register. If a user clicks on register, they will be required to enter their first name, last name, an email address, a password, and to confirm their password. Since I already have a user set up for the demo, I will log in as that user. Once the user's credentials are accepted, we are logged into the landing page. The landing page features the user as well as some of their important health information. This includes their patient profile, some recent observations, their practitioner's profile, and the healthcare organization they are associated with. Below, the user can see their most recent appointments, their most recent labs, their most recent recorded workouts and meals, and some information from the Learning Center. First, we will visit the appointments. The user can click on See All Appointments, and they will be brought to the appointment page. Here, the user has a calendar of their appointments as well as the most recent appointments, including the subject of the appointment, the status, and the date, as well as the practitioner who administered the appointment. Going back to the home page, the user can access their labs. The user can also access the pages on our Pages menu here. The Labs page is very similar to the Appointments page, where users can view their most recent labs and a calendar of their lab appointments. Navigating from the Lab page, we can go to the Fitness page. The Fitness page displays the user's most recent workouts as well as meals. We will first add a workout. So here, the user has the ability to name their workout, how long they worked out for, the date, which we will add as today, the type of workout, and I'm going to specify that the user swam 2 miles. And I can click Save Changes. Now the user's profile is updated with their most recent workout. Similarly, users can add a meal and search for a food. We used the Nutritionix API to pull in nutritional information. We can see here that the nutrition facts of 1 slice of a French toast is pulled up for the user. We will mark this as breakfast. We'll say the user had 4 slices on today's date. The meal is now created. From here, the user also has the option to delete their meals. The user also has access to their Learning Center. The Learning Center features both static and dynamic data. The static data is featured above, which provides links to different topics on living with HIV. The bottom 4 links are dynamic data powered by the newsapi.org API. These results return a query based on a search of living with HIV. The results are not always associated with HIV, but more so medical news. In the future, we would look towards creating our own API that would have a much narrower focus on HIV-related news rather than a broad focus on healthcare news. From the page, the user can access our project repo to learn more about our project, and the user has the ability to log out of the application. If a visitor were to visit the page, they could also access the GitHub repo to learn more about the project.
Taking a look at our Gantt chart, you can see the progress that our team made. We not only completed all of our primary goals in implementing the core pieces of functionality, but we were also able to add some stretch features in as well. Phase 1 was spent doing research on our subject and making technology decisions, and then speccing out the project, including creating our initial batch of 60 tickets on GitHub. The second phase was focused on the actual development of the app. We built the initial shell of the application in static pages and then filled them in piece by piece. The first thing we built out was the user registration and login component. Then we added data management components for labs, appointments, meals, and workouts, as well as the Learning Center for research access. After that, we moved on to our Stretch Fire API integration components, including automatic synchronization of labs and appointments, as well as programmatic pulling of meal and fitness information and recent research. The final phase of our project was spent testing and tightening up the application and preparing our final presentation.
Our application presents several opportunities for future improvement. First, we would like to launch to a user group for testing to determine if our application is meeting their needs and how we can further improve the application to meet other HIV patient needs. We would want to observe how the group uses the application and how it affects their management of HIV. After this is complete, we will launch to the public for further testing and improvement. And after receiving feedback from public users, we would iterate on our current version to further cater to HIV patient needs. Finally, our reference document is listed here, which is also present in our GitHub repo. Thank you.